Another weekend of gun violence all across the nation, more than a dozen people killed.
And we're talking about since Friday, as there have been 13 mass shootings in the United States, including one in a busy part of Philadelphia, another outside a nightclub in Chattanooga, where 14 people were shot. 2 of them died. Well, doctors and faith leaders in Washington and Oregon are calling our gun violence crisis a public health emergency.
Liz Burt spoke to the Washington State Medical Association and Lift Every Voice Oregon about the changes they want to see when it comes to gun laws. Liz?
Well, I spoke to both of them. It was interesting to me that both those group of doctors and those spiritual leaders we talked to both use that same term, a public health emergency, when it comes to gun violence. Dr. Mika Sinanan is the president of the Washington State Medical Association. He says in the case of high-velocity weapons, the bullets have lasting effects on the people they injure.
Patients are left with lifelong disabilities if they survive. So they're really devastating injuries. They're weapons of war, and they have no place in civil society.
He says emergency rooms in cities in the Northwest are getting busier, treating gunshot victims.
What do you think needs to be done?
We believe that the violence associated with guns has many components. There are mental health issues, but one of the largest elements of it, we believe, is the easy availability of guns. And we believe that common sense measures to reduce the availability of guns to the wrong people is a critical step in handling this public health emergency.
Spiritual leaders tell me today their prayers are with the many victims of recent mass shootings across the country, including multiple just this weekend. But they say thoughts and prayers aren't enough. They're calling for action.
To get legislation onto the November ballot, IP17, to create a permit to purchase for guns so that people go through complete background checks, safety training, before receiving a weapon, and to ban large capacity magazines.
And they say their movement is growing.
And we have 1,200 volunteers out there. It's the public health issue of guns and our children. And that's all of our concern.
And I did reach out to both local lawmakers, also the NRA. I'll let you know when I hear back. I should also mention, coming up on Wednesday, our city council here in Portland is set to address the spike in gun violence as well. Of course, we'll be covering that too. Live in Portland, Liz Birch, KOIN 6 News.